Vinaka.
The principal of Vunimono High School, Mr. Biman Singh, the chairman of the Board of Trustees, my good friend, Mr. Govind Singh, principals and head teachers of sister schools and around Nassori, senior officials from the Ministry of Education, invited guests, teachers, and dear students. Bula Vinaka, namaste and good morning to you all. I am extremely delighted to be here this morning, and I don't apologize for getting out of my busy schedule of formulating and working on the next budget, which will be delivered on the 27th of June at 10 a.m. I could not say no to Vunimono High School invitation for two reasons. First, originally it came from my younger brother, Mr. Prasad, who happens to be the former principal of Vunimono High School. Although he's younger than me, I usually don't say no to him. And the second was Vunimono High School is in my memory for a very good reason. When I began my university studies, I was going to be a teacher in a high school. So I was trained as a teacher, and at that time, you had to go through a very formal teacher training, and in the last year of your university studies, you had to go and teach in a secondary school if you were trained as a secondary school teacher. And I chose Vunimono High to be trained as a teacher, and I taught there for 6 weeks in 1985. And I still remember some of those classrooms. It is also very exciting to be here to officiate at the groundbreaking ceremony of a very innovative, important infrastructure development program at your school. But I was more delighted to come because I knew that the idea of this project came from year 13 students. And I want to congratulate all those students and all of you today. I've always believed that our students, our young minds, especially in this age of revolution in technology, in computer science, in AI, that our children are much more informed, they are much more innovative, they have many ideas that they can offer to all of us. And to think about a project of that nature is a thought which is not merely in wood and thatch, It is a symbol of stories. It is a symbol of blend that comes from thinking about culture, about tradition, about one's identity, and bringing it together with the education goals that you have. I listened to the principal very carefully about the idea and how that idea has come to fruition. And it reflects the long-held history of school infrastructure in this country. Today, almost 99% of our school infrastructure or schools that were built by our forefathers, our religious organizations, and managed by them over so many years. And if anybody in this country over the last so many years has provided free education to our children and to our people, it is our community. It is their leadership, it is their dedication and vision for education of their children that we now and today have such magnificent infrastructure built by our forefathers, built by our grandparents, built by our religious leaders, and therefore it is our responsibility as students, as parents, as teachers, to ensure that that legacy lives on. In that context, let me say this very clearly. And this is not about talking about the past. It is about learning from the mistakes of the past. And when one talks about the past, it is about learning from the mistakes and the successes of the past. Unfortunately, the partnership between school management, teachers, students, communities were completely broken for the last so many years, at least in the last 15, 16 years. And I am very pleased today to say that as a government, we are bringing back that partnership. And in this coming budget, we will be announcing measures and steps that will further enhance that partnership between our communities, our schools, our teachers. We are going to provide funding for the School Management Association. We are going to provide funding for professional associations like Head Teachers Association, Principals Association. And we are going to make sure that we provide the freedom and the flexibility to our school managements, to our teachers and the heads of schools, so that they can bring back the model that the head teacher just mentioned, the partnership that has allowed your school to raise funds to build 16 bures and also those donated by your well-wishers. That's the partnership that we want to bring back to our schools, to our education system in this country. In the last 2.5 years, we have focused very clearly on delivering on a number of fronts to support our education system. As soon as we came into government, in January 2023, we announced a new scheme of back to school support so that all our children coming from households with income less than 50,000 would get $200 each to prepare for their school. And I know that many of you in this hall today would have received that $200 each. How many of you received that? Put your hands up if you did. I'm very pleased to see so many hands up. We also made sure that we support those who get out of the school leaving year 13. We replaced the loan scheme with a totally merit-based scholarship. Every student that comes out of the high school, year 13, or even year 12, depending on the marks that they get and the qualification they have to do a particular course, all of them are eligible for scholarships. There is no more loan scheme. And all those people, students and parents who had the loans, we wrote that a total of $650 million. We also ensured that we look after our teachers, and in the last budget, we raised the salaries of our teachers and civil servants, ranging from between 7 to 20%. We are going to build on some of those decisions that we made in the last two budgets, including raising the retirement age for our teachers. In the next budget, we are also looking at how we can support our schools, our management, and the Ministry of Education to undertake a rapid, a speedy way in which we can build and improve the infrastructure. It is our government, the coalition government, that called for an audit of the schools in the Subanasori area, and we asked the Australian government to do that audit. And the report for that audit of schools is out, and it shows that in the last so many years, hardly any new school, hardly any new classroom, the condition of washrooms, sanitation facilities had all deteriorated in many of the schools. And we, with the support of the Australian government, we are now embarking on a program to ensure that we not only build additional classrooms, but also, where necessary, build new schools. And we would be extending those audits in other areas, particularly in the Western Division, and especially in the urban schools, where many more students are moving to get education at the high school or even at the primary school level. One last point that I want to make before I stop, and that is to talk to you directly as students. As I said earlier, All of you have great ideas. All of you have and must have ambitions of becoming something. But we are concerned as a government of the scourge of drug use in this country. This is something that we as a government are tackling head on. We are putting in resources. We are making sure that those who peddle drugs, those who try and smuggle drugs into the country would be dealt with in a timely and in a manner that requires the government to do things so that those who are thinking, planning, or are in the business of drug dealing, they must know that the government, our law enforcement agencies will go after them and we will deal with them. My message to you students, drug is a menace. It can destroy you. It will destroy your mom and dad. It will destroy your families. It will destroy your societies. It will destroy a country. That is the fear that each one of you should have. That is the fear that you should articulate with your brothers, with your sisters, with your friends in the school. And collectively, all of you should say no to drugs. Say that again. Thank you. Vinaka Vakalevu. Once again, let me say how pleased I am to be here. And I want to congratulate the principal, the management, the teachers, parents, and all of you students for coming up with this project. And I want to wish you well in your endeavors, in your exams, and a very successful 2025 year for all of you. Thank you.